Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain.
Hello, everyone. I have my disclaimer here. Any information discussed in this interview may not be the views of the station or host. Please discuss any information with your primary care physician. Hello, everyone. I am Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy. Yes, I know who I'm host of. Chatting with Betsy and Passionate World Talk Radio, where our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. Folks, you're going to want to listen to my guest today. I am going to toot my own horn. I do have phenomenal guests, and you're going to want to listen to my guest, especially if you are a caregiver. But even if you're not a caregiver, chances are you're going to be a caregiver. First, I want to do two public service announcements. One is next month, is September already, World Alzheimer's Awareness Month. Those who have lived it, those who are dealing with Alzheimer's, we don't need a month. It's for you, the public, to educate yourself. Please educate yourself on the number 6 killer. Please go for a screening. See a doctor if you are concerned about memory problems. I beg you to please do that. And also, September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Sometimes, folks, we all struggle. And if you are struggling, you're not alone. There's help out there. Wherever you live in this world, please seek your physician for help. Here in America, we have a suicide prevention hotline, which is 988. So that's what I have to say, because we never know what life is going to throw at us. And sometimes we do need help, and sometimes we are in a dark spot. So I want everyone to know you're not alone, and there is help out there. So that's my public service announcement. And without further ado, my guest, and I'll tell you why she's phenomenal, Debbie Compton, is an author of several books. One is Caregiving, How to Hold On While Letting Go. She also has coloring books, and We All Need to Relax, and inspirational books. Debbie is a PAC certified caregiving consultant and advocate, as well as community educator for the Alzheimer's Association. She has a website, and if you're a caregiver, I'm telling you, you need to go on this website right after you hear this show. It is phenomenal. It is www.thepurplevine.com, where Debbie's mission is to empower caregivers with education, a listening ear, and ideas to reduce stress, find more joy, and live their best life. She not awesome or what? Debbie Compton, welcome to Chatting with Betsy. I'm so happy to have you on.
Oh, my goodness, what a glowing recommendation. Thank you, Betsy. You are a sweetheart.
You're welcome. I was, when you contacted me, I'm like, yeah, I got to interview you, and because I was researching my guest, and I'm like, wow, this woman's phenomenal. How do you have time to do anything? You're so busy.
Well, I was in business for a lot of years and then became a caregiver for my dad with Parkinson's, my mother-in-law with Alzheimer's, and my mother with vascular dementia. And so I had all three at one time. So busy just was a way of life.
Yes. And I know we were talking before. I have to tell the audience, I love the title of your book, Caregiving, How to Hold On While Letting Go. As a former caregiver of personal experience, you are holding on, and yet you were letting go with that person. How did you come up with that title? I just love it.
Oh, thank you so much. I was struggling to find a good title. I couldn't come up with something that really encompassed caregiving because it's such a challenge. And there's joys there, but it's also so difficult. And my husband said, because while you're caregiving, you're also still, trying to let go. You're trying to hang on to yourself while you're letting go of them. You're losing them. And I was like, oh, that's it. That's perfect, because you're holding on sometimes by a thread, but you're holding on at the same time grieving the loss of that relationship of your loved one and watching them fade away, and it's just heartbreaking.
Yes, it is. And, I tell my audience this all the time, Debbie. One of the reasons why I do Chatting with Betsy is to provide resources for people to know they're not alone and to help them. And you're a wonderful resource, and I wish I knew about you when Matt was alive. And will I ever stop saying that, folks? No, I will not stop saying that, because I was alone, and I didn't have to be. I did have Facebook support groups, but I didn't have Debbie Compton. I didn't know about her book. I didn't know about Purple Vine. So I want the world to know. My phone is my megaphone to the world. And I had to ask you, I know what motivated you to write the book, but can you tell the audience what motivated you to write your book?
Well, yes, absolutely. I had been, like I said, in business, and I was traveling coast to coast, and then Dad had low blood pressure. He accidentally took my mom's pills, who had high blood pressure, and he was nearly comatose in the hospital. And so Mom started passing out at the Daily Living Center, and I was on the other coast when that would happen, and I couldn't get there. And so just event after event, and then we realized life had to change. So I became a full-time caregiver without knowing what I was doing, and just starting to research everywhere and interviewing doctors and nurses and scouring the web and trying to find out everything that I could. And I found a lot of information about what was going on in their brain, but not a lot of information about how to deal with it. And quite honestly, I didn't care less at that point what was happening in their brain. I was just trying to survive. And I was trying to take care of 3 people who had mental challenges. And so at that point in my life, honestly, I couldn't see anyone outside of those 3. I was just focused on them and trying to keep them alive and safe and healthy and as happy as possible and all that. Well, when my mother-in-law, was passing away in my home, towards the very end of her life, I finally brought hospice in. And hospice came in, and they saw the bed alert system that I'd created, and they saw the door system that, my husband and I have to give him a lot of credit there because he's very creative. But he and I created a different door system, too, to keep her in the house. And the little nurse said, "Where'd you read about this?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? I didn't read about it anywhere. It's called survival." And she said, "Well, other caregivers need to know about this. People don't know this. This would really help them." And honestly, before she said those words, I had never even considered it. I didn't think it was anything unusual or special or anything else, and it was just survival. And so I prayed and prayed on it, and then I realized that God laid it on my heart to write a book. And so after she passed away, and my dad had passed away just prior to that, and so then I had a little more time because I only had Mom with vascular dementia. And so that's when I started writing the book. And so that's the reason, was just because of that comment that it would help other people, because it's in me to help other people. But at that point, I couldn't see how I could help anyone. I was just trying to help them, help them get through. So so that's how I wrote the first book, and all my books are because of family, because I am very family oriented. And I still have Mom. She's had vascular dementia for 21 years now.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, she's still going strong. She is the cutest little thing. She doesn't have a clue that there's anything wrong with her. She's just a happy little camper, even though she can't find the bathroom, doesn't know where the front door is, doesn't know where she is. She's happy. So,
well, at least she's happy. That is that she's happy. You know what, Debbie? I found the same thing in my experience with my mother-in-law, and I worked as a licensed practical nurse. So I never even heard the word Alzheimer's back in the 70s. Never heard, didn't even hear about it in the 80s either. So when my mother-in-law was diagnosed, in, I'd say 2000, I was like, what is that? And, we're not told about the sundowning and hallucinations. And you're right.
Right.
We read about what's going on in their brain, but how do we deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with her hallucinations. I didn't know this was part of the package.
Right. Well, and that's
and her,
the thing.
you know.
Yeah, that's what I ran into. And so that's why as I learned more and more and as I studied more, that's why I put those things in my book, because the book is not just about our journey or whatever, you know, although there are hilarious stories in there of things that we encountered, because not a lot of people are, I guess, silly enough like me to take two little ladies with forms of dementia to the hairdresser or to go buy groceries or to go to doctor visits. I told them it was a 2-for-1 sale. So, you know, but I learned a lot through that. And so I put all that in my book. And then I have 2 brothers and a sister, and we handled mom's repetition was just, it can make you crazy. You know what I mean? Just
right,
get to the end of the sentence, and then she's asking the same question again. And so we all handled that in different ways. And so I include that in the book. This is the way I handled it. This is the way Brenda did. This is the way Mitch did. This is the way Mike did. Because as a caregiver, you have to have a plan, but then you got to have a backup plan. And how much better is it to have 4 plans to choose from? Because any given day, one plan's going to work and another one won't. And so that's why I put all that in the book, to try to help people and as much as possible, because I really genuinely do not want people to struggle like I did. And there are things you can do, and so I put those in the book every time, and I'm working on writing another book now because I've learned even more. But that's what it's all about, is sharing the information, sharing the knowledge with other people, trying to make their lives less stressful, because, my goodness, caregiving, I led teams nationwide, and I'm telling you, caregiving is way harder than that.
Yeah, yes. I worked as a nurse, and I can say being a caregiver is much more challenging than being a nurse or being a preschool teacher, a preschool teacher's aide with 14, 15 children. I can tell you that. It's very challenging. And, Debbie, I tell all the time, caregivers, it takes a village of people to help support the caregiver. And you're one of the people in the village. And I really do hope that people in the audience listening will buy your book, either for their future or give it to someone as a gift that they know a caregiver, but to go on your website for help, because people think they're all alone in how they feel, and they're not. And this is what I tell people. You're not alone. We all struggle. As caregiving, yes, sometimes we think, this stinks. Yes, it's rewarding, but you know what? Sometimes it really stinks. And it's okay to feel that way, or to, people don't feel comfortable with, I don't really call it lying, when they tell their father or mother or their husband, whoever, I say either you exaggerate the truth, or you're going to have a hostile situation on your hands, like with hallucinations.
Yes,
I did not, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I call it living in their reality, because you're not going to change their mind on what they're seeing, because they're actually seeing it. Due to the things going on in their brain, they see those monkeys in the tree. And so they don't have the ability to adapt, but we do. So why wouldn't we, to help them? Because, when we stress them out, which is what happens when we argue with them or try to convince them of something that they're not seeing, how would you feel if somebody walked up to you and you're driving a blue car and they say your car is orange? You're like, no, it's not, it's blue. Why cause that stress? Why do that? Because when you add stress, the disease progresses faster. And my dad was 7 years from diagnosis till he passed away. 7 years, because he knew something was wrong and it bothered him. He was worried about it. He was stressed about it. He was hallucinating. He was having delusions. It was horrible. But he knew things were wrong. And so there was a lot of stress. My mom isn't stressed about anything. She can't remember anything to be stressed about it. And 21 years, So what I say is live in their reality. If they say the sky is whatever, neon blue, who cares? Yeah, it is. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
What difference does it make? They say, do you see that little dog? Isn't he the cutest little thing? Say yes. He is. My mother-in-law had a little dog, because I was in the kitchen cooking, and she was sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden she starts laughing. Well, it kind of freaked me out, right? Because it's only me and her home, and all of a sudden she's just laughing. And so that was a little unnerving. And then I notice her looking down at the floor, and she's just giggling, and then I see her patting and everything, like she's patting a little dog. She thought she was watching my little dog do tricks. I didn't have a little dog at that point. But it's okay, because she'd say, look at him, isn't he funny? Yes, he is. Yes. Why wouldn't you do that to give them peace of mind? Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Yes. This is what I'm saying, Debbie. Like, I wish I knew with my mother-in-law 20 years ago what I know now. I wish I knew, how to handle that instead of arguing with her. Because she always was accusing me of stealing her annuities. And I would yell back because I didn't know. So when Matt started to hallucinate, I was well prepared. I was educated, and Josh, my son, our son was educated. I educated him. And this is, folks, another reason why I do my show, and I tell people, and I don't care if people get offended, because I'm a Jersey girl, I serve it straight up. You have to educate yourself. As a caregiver, I'm telling you, educate yourself, make your life easier. And if you don't educate yourself, you're going to cause more stress for you and your loved one. And you know what, Debbie? I don't even want to hear anymore from people. I don't have time. Yes, you do. You make the time for what's important to you. Stick the earbuds in your ear. That's what I used to do so Matt wouldn't hear other people talk because he didn't like other people's voices. I did it, and I worked and caregived, and I listened to other people because I wanted to educate myself. And if you could sit and binge on Netflix, then you could sit and binge on education for yourself. So I'm very strong about that.
You got it, and it's 100% correct, because you're not educating yourself for yourself. You're doing it for them as well. Now, it's going to make your life simpler and easier, but it's also going to benefit them, which can potentially lengthen their lifespan. So why wouldn't you take a few minutes? Like you said, you're taking the trash out. You can listen on earbuds while you're doing that, while you're cleaning the floor, while you're doing the dishes, while you're cleaning up that disaster that they've just thrown all over the floor. You can still listen to something. You find the time because it will benefit you and them.
Yes, definitely. I had to ask you, Debbie, your book is phenomenal, and boy, do I wish there was that book a long time ago. You're a caregiving consultant. Can you tell people what is that, and why should someone hire a caregiving consultant? I mean, I know why, and I'll tell you, folks. I wished I did. I want you all to learn from my experience and not make my mistakes, because I wish I hired someone to help me navigate the hospice, especially the hospice process. So I would like for you to tell the audience, why should they hire caregiving consultants? Why is it important?
Oh, my goodness, it's so important. But, and I was like you. I didn't even know there was such a thing. So I certainly didn't hire one. I wanted someone to talk to, and that was difficult. But what it is, first off, a caregiving consultant is just a fancy name for coach, okay? So because that's what I do. It's meeting you wherever your need is. If you need somebody to help you navigate a difficult conversation, if you're not able to get family to help you or other people to help you, or you don't know where to look for resources, or you just need somebody to listen to you while you vent one day and then help you gain some perspective and help you be able to move forward, that's me. That's a caregiving consultant. That is someone who, and the difference, there are caregiving consultants that have done the studying, which I did the studying, and I did the training and the whole bit, but I did all that after 2 of my loved ones had passed away, because I wasn't prepared for it beforehand. I didn't have time beforehand, and I certainly didn't have time when I was in the middle of it. Now I've had all that training, but besides that, I have the experience. I've done it. I'm on my 3rd time as a primary caregiver, and then I was a secondary caregiver. Oh, man. Whew. I was telling God, I'm not really as strong as you think I am. He said, you're not, but I am. So
yeah, amen.
So I just rest in him and you know what? He's got it. I don't know where this thing is going. He's driving and I'm just hanging on. So, but consulting is something that if you just need somebody to talk to, you need to gain perspective, whatever. There are no limits on mine. I know there are some limits on some other people's, but I don't, because I've been there. I don't know what your situation is at this particular time, but I will help you. And I'm not saying I might be able to help you. I will help you. Because if I don't have the answers, and I do not claim to have all the answers, I will help you figure out what to do. And I have a lot of resources and a lot of places for you to look and check. And, Betsy, since you are such a wonderful dear friend, I just adore your style, too. And I love your straight shooting style. I love it. If everybody was like that, we would have so many less problems in the world.
Thank you.
But for your listeners, if they want to send me an email, I will give them the first caregiving session, consulting session, free of charge.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. They can just shoot me an email. Do you want me to tell the email address, or how do you do this?
Sure. Yeah, you can give it, and then it will be in the blog. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Deb.
Yeah, go ahead. You can say it.
Oops. Okay. Deb Compton and the number 1 at gmail.com. And she'll have it in the blog post, but it's Deb Compton 1 at gmail. And you know what? If you can't remember that, it's okay. Go to my website, The Purple Vine, and you'll find it there, and I'll put on their free consultation even so that you'll be able to find it.
Thank you, Debbie. It's very kind of you. And I have to tell the audience, and this is just my own personal opinion. If I were to pick a caregiving consultant, I want one who is experienced personally, because I'm going to tell you something. Yes, they might have the knowledge professionally, but they haven't walked in caregiving shoes. It's just book knowledge. Debbie has book knowledge. She has personal experience. There's a difference. In my opinion, there is a difference, because you've walked the walk. You're still walking the walk. I took care of 3 people, too. Well, I knew 3 people. 3 relatives. I took care of 2. But God bless you, and I'm still a caregiver for Josh. So I understand. I'll tell you what, Debbie, I say this all the time. I made it through 10 years of caregiving with Matt. I had 5 years with my mother-in-law. Prior to that, there was a break in between. And all I could say is by the grace of God, and I give God the glory, that I made it through caregiving with my sanity somewhat intact. People might debate that, but and my health pretty much intact. And there were days, I'm telling people, I have fibromyalgia, and I suffer from migraines. I didn't know how I was going to put one foot in front of the other. I really did not. God gave me the strength. And, you know, people worry about how am I going to be at the stage or at the end of life? How am I going to handle watching a loved one die? I'm not pushing my faith on people. I'm just saying that, you know, there's this saying I heard, God doesn't give you the grace until you need it. Until you need it. And God will give it to you. So whatever you believe in or whoever you believe in, call on your faith, because I don't know how people do it without faith, to be honest with you, but God gave me the
Right.
strength, and I don't care that offends people. That's what I believe. Anyone can believe in whatever they want. God gave me my strength, and it's by His grace, and I just have to. I give Him the glory because
absolutely. I'm the same
it's
way.
not by my doing.
I could not have survived if it weren't for God. If it weren't for my faith in God, I would not have gotten through. There were days when I would be crying, cleaning up the bathroom floor, and reminding myself, greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. We are more than conquerors through Christ. I mean, all these scriptures coming back to mind are what gave me comfort and reassurance of what, reminded me that I will get through this and that I can get through this and that it's not all on me because I've got God helping me. And then you need those people around you, the village, like you said, to be able to help and to support. And those people are there. You just may not know where they are. And so that's what I want to help people to do. And you don't have to be a believer for me to consult with you, and I won't push my faith on people either. I just tell you this is my story. My story is this the only way I got through. But that's okay. If you don't believe, then I will help you find other ways for you to be able to deal with the things that you're dealing with. But I'm telling you, it's so much easier as a Christian. It's so much.
Yeah. That's true. Well, Debbie, do you do consulting via Zoom, and do you do international consulting?
Yes.
Oh,
I have
great.
Yet, but I can. Sure.
I
do Zoom, and so Zoom is. I mean, if you've got a Zoom connection, then I can do a consultation with you.
Okay, so because the show is international, so that's why I asked.
Yeah.
So
hey,
folks,
I'll figure it out.
You have a computer or smartphone. I don't have a computer. I have a smartphone. I would definitely go. I urge you to go on the purplevine.com and email Debbie for a free consultation. To me, that's a no-brainer. I'm there. I'd be hopping off. I'd be going right on my phone.
Right? I know.
To hear that.
I know. That's so funny. Sorry.
I wish this is what I'm really passionate about, Debbie, is meeting like-minded people like you who are passionate about what they do, who care, about others and helping others. And I'll tell you this is a personal observation and an opinion of my own. The people who have gone through caregiving are the ones who are speaking up. We're the advocates, and we're the trailblazers. And
that's true.
When you have someone who has experienced, I'm telling you, they know what they're talking about. Now, I don't know. I just met Debbie, I think I talked to you a month or two ago. So not like Debbie's giving me a hand, a kickback. That's not it. I believe,
no.
People might think, oh, she's getting a kickback. No, I'm not.
No.
I just love what Debbie's doing, and I think Debbie's terrific. And I want everyone to know about Debbie Compton and to at least get a free consultation.
Right.
I would be jumping at that.
You are sweet. Well, sometimes you just need, somebody to give you a little perspective sometimes. And sometimes, you're just at your wit's end and you've tried everything you can think of. Maybe I have some things you haven't thought of. Maybe not. And we can look at things. And so you just have to talk through, and talking through can really help you get to the other side too. And that's why I wrote my journal. Created the journal, Right to Remember. It's WRITE, Right to Remember. And I did that because, when you write everything down, when you're trying to solve a problem and you've got a loved one who is hallucinating at a particular time of day, maybe you didn't even notice it was the same time of day, but if you start to write it down, what time of day do they hallucinate? Where are they sitting when they hallucinate? Are they overly tired? Did they just eat a particular food? Did they just take medicine within a certain amount of this time? If you write all those things down, then you start to find the pattern And then you can step into prevention, ways to prevent it from happening again, or ways to at least reduce the odds of it happening again. Because sometimes, as in my dad's case, the aliens that were digging a tunnel coming into his house was happening when the sun was going down at night. He was sitting in his recliner. He'd be looking out his storm door, which was glass top to bottom, and he'd see the sun reflecting off his white mailbox, which caused his mind to interpret it as an alien. So the simple solution, once I finally figured that out, was shut the front door. You know? then the light is not seeing an alien.
Yeah, I just told someone, not yesterday, what's today, Tuesday, or maybe it was Monday, because someone I know, their husband possibly could have dementia, he's showing signs, and I told this person, you need to educate yourself. You know, I can't, listen to this. I said, you have earbuds? Put the earbuds in. And I said, stop correcting your husband. Do you want to be corrected all the time? And go with the flow. And she's just not getting it. And caregivers, I don't care if you get offended until I speak the truth. Get out of your own way, okay? I used to, when I was in my car doing videos, this one lady couldn't believe it because I said, get your head out of your butt and educate yourself. And she was shocked. She goes, I thought that here's a sweet person. She said, get my head out of my butt and educate myself. But she said, that's what I needed. That's what I needed to hear. And she started to educate herself, and her life became better. So,
or you know what? Buy a hard copy of the book, and you soak in the tub while your husband, your spouse, your neighbor, a friend from the church, whoever, sits with your loved one and watches TV with them, so you can have a few minutes of rest and read the book while you're sitting in the tub. I mean, you can find the time.
Yes, and it's so very important, and I can't say it enough. I don't care if I sound like a broken record for those who remember records. I push, I'm old here. I push education. I do. You have to. So important to educate yourself. I wish there was someone on the radio speaking. I wish I knew about the Debbie Comptons of the world. I wish I knew about resources to help would have made my life easier and Josh's life and Matt's life easier. And, there is no perfect caregiver. We all make mistakes. And if you think you're a perfect caregiver, please come on my show because I want to meet you. But I just want to thank you, Debbie, for coming on, chatting with Betsy, and sharing about your book and what you do. And I want to tell the folks, Debbie Compton's books are on Amazon.com under the name Debbie DeMoss Compton, and it will be in the blog. She has a whole page on Amazon with all her books. I told you, she's phenomenal. And it's just, I was like flabbergasted. How does this woman have time to do anything else? She's does all these books and does this, and you are really a phenomenal person.
Can I tell them one little thing real quick about Sunshine for the Soul? Okay. I wrote a book, Sunshine for the Soul. It's SON, Sunshine for the Soul. And it has, because I was trying to help my mom. She couldn't follow plots anymore. She couldn't remember characters. And so I created this book, which is just one inspirational quote, one Bible verse, and one funny story, almost totally from our lives. And so you're not going to find it anywhere else. And some of them are hilarious. And so, like, when Mom was a bulletin maker and my dad was a pastor, a small country church, and it was the days of typewriter, no spell check, no autocorrect, none of that good stuff. She accidentally left out the first G in the word singing. So the bulletin reads, if you enjoy sinning, join the choir. So there are tons of stories like that, and it's just a small, short, easy read that will brighten your day that your loved one can read because their sight gets worse as the dementia gets worse. It is in great big large print, And so it's easy for them to see, and it will make them laugh. It will brighten the day. It'll brighten your day. You can start at the beginning, the middle, or the end. It doesn't matter. So that's sunshine for the soul.
Thank you. I'm telling you, phenomenal. You are phenomenal, Debbie. Thank you for all that you do to help others, and while you're even caregiving yourself. That is really, to me, a sign of a very strong, dedicated person who's still helping people as you are having your own situation to deal with. And I can't thank you enough for writing all your books and for coming on and helping people. I want to remind the audience, go on Amazon.com, and the caregiving book is Caregiving, How to Hold On While Letting Go. When you go on Amazon.com, you will see all of Debbie's books that she has, Sunshine for the Soul, her coloring books, and you will just be amazed. Also, the free consultation. Email Deb Compton, the number 1, at gmail.com. This will be in the blog. And the website is purplevine.com. This will also be in the blog. So please read the blog. And I want to thank Jeannie White, who's station manager, who writes the blog and produces the show. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, CEO of Pastoral Talk Radio, who makes this all possible. Thank you again, Debbie, for all that you do for caregivers and helping educate people and making their lives better.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you, Betsy, so much for having me on the show. I appreciate the opportunity to share with caregivers any chance I get. So there is help out there, and I'm one of them. Reach out.
Yes, you are. Thank you. Folks, if you missed any of this show, you can hear it all over again, wherever you hear your favorite shows or podcasts. It is free to subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, and I highly recommend that you do, to hear people like Debbie Compton and other people who are wonderful resources. I do the show to help others. This is my mission, my vision. So please subscribe and share the show. I am on CastBox, Spreaker, Spotify, just to name a few, wherever you hear your favorite podcasts or shows. And when you share my show and subscribe, you are helping me with my mission and vision, and you are helping to honor my husband Matt's memory, because it's a difficult, because of Matt was always my inspiration of why I do what I do, and I will continue to do what I do in Matt's memory. And people say, well, why are you still talking about Matt? Because I will always talk about my husband, Matt. He's the reason why I went in my car. He's the reason why I started to raise awareness. And he's how I got discovered by Jeannie White. So I will always talk about Matt. And I just want to thank everyone for listening. And please share this to help someone else. If you know a caregiver, and like I said, folks, if you're not a caregiver ready, you will be one. I can guarantee it. The baby boomers age, and I am one of them. You will be a caregiver. And there are young people being a caregiver. My son was a caregiver for his dad at the age of 25, to his grandma at the age of 16. There are young caregivers. So remember that. And have a plan. Have a plan A, B, C, D, because you don't want to wait for a crisis. And it's important. It's important to have a caregiving consultant. And I'm telling you, I wish I had one. I really do. I wish I knew about them. I wish I knew about many things. And this is why I tell you about my experience. I'm not claiming to be an expert, folks. I made mistakes. I want you to learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make the same one. And that's why I do what I do. So I want to thank everyone. And like I always say at the end of my show, in a world where you could be anything, to please be kind, because we need it. And shine your light bright, folks. Help change the world, be a better place by being kind and shining your light bright. People need help. People are struggling. And let's just be kind. Until we chat again, this is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Bye-bye, everyone.
Are you looking for an internet talk radio station for your podcast, look no further. At the helm of Passionate World Talk Radio are two women that want to provide a spot for you and your podcast to be heard. There are many other places for your podcast, but PWTR has the audience. You will not be disappointed. Our station has been on the internet for the past 16 years. Call us for more information. 484-364-1032 or text Jeannie White, station manager at THECONNECTSHOW@gmail.com for podcast show details. Thank you for listening to Passionate World Talk Radio. You can listen to this program all over again by going over to https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. You can also hear it on Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Alexa, AMFM247.com every Tuesday evening between 8 and 9 p.m. YouTube, Facebook, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and all the other podcast directories one can find on the internet.